Okay, so I've been here in Medellin for a couple weeks now. These last few weeks have been crazy to say the least, but I'm feeling a lot better every single day. Is a healing process. Over the last week, I've been able to really think about the whole entire situation and give a little more of a balanced perspective on everything. I think the hardest part about this whole entire thing is that I still love my wife, right? And I don't see her as a bad person at all. And it would have been a lot easier to do this divorce if her and we had an extremely toxic relationship and we were yelling all the time and, she cheated on me or I cheated on her or something like that. But it was none of that. We always had very respectful conversations. We just had a very different way of looking at everything. And my problem isn't with her. It's all the other people that she surrounds herself with. And because those people have such a strong influence on her life because, she didn't really have a good relationship with her dad, she has looked for guidance and the authority figures in a bunch of other people from the church, from like this particular family, and people who are like friends with her mom and the pastor from the church, right? All of these people have become father figures to her. And I felt like in our relationship, she expected me to be the best out of all the father figures in her life without truly accepting me for, who I am and all of my flaws and everywhere that I come from culture-wise, And the more that we got into the relationship, the more I realized like, I don't think this is gonna work out because we keep trying to push the other person to change. I believe that as a man, I need to be the one to lead the household, and as the Bible says, she should be the one that follows my lead. The term submission gets tossed around a lot, and I think a lot of people think it's like I'm the boss and like I'm like with a whip and then telling her exactly what to do. But it's not like that at all. It's just more like, okay, I have a vision for how I want our family to go, and I don't want to have to really constantly argue with my wife about the direction we need to go because she's like, oh, I'm scared, or religion, or what are other people going to think, right? These are all things that are not conducive to our marriage. And I think most men, if you are paying for everything, you're responsible for your woman, you are planning everything, all of the trips that we go on, our honeymoon, you take care of the household, you do your job, and you treat your wife with respect, but then you have no say in how the direction of the family because you're always having to check with the church and other people outside of the relationship. That's not a good deal for anybody, right? I don't think any man would put up with that. After a while, I told her, look, if you continue to act like this and seek other people for counsel and look at other people's opinions above my own, we're gonna separate because I'm not gonna put up with that. And then she took it to the point where, she brought other people in and then the death threats and all that stuff and X, Y, and Z. So it just kind of blew up into this whole entire thing. So a lot of people have asked me, what were the events that led up to them sending me the death threats? So with this particular family, right? I'm not gonna name any names. Over the last 2.5 years in Manizales, I developed a very beautiful friendship with the daughter of the family, right? And I've seen her grow and I've seen her, really mature into a very smart, intelligent person. We've had really deep conversations. We've cried together. We've played basketball together. When I came to Medellin, I texted her on Instagram and I just said like, hey, look, I wanted to talk to you because, I'm going to miss you a lot. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to say bye because I think my wife and I were going to separate. And here are kind of the reasons why. And she was telling me like her reasons why I shouldn't do it and everything. And I'm just like, look, I'm not here to like argue or anything. I'm just saying that this is my position and this is what's going to happen and I'm sorry. And her father, who has the password to all of her social media, saw the conversation, found out, and that's when I got the death threat. The issue isn't really with my wife. My wife and I were trying to handle this in-house, but it was these outside influences and this man who felt the need to protect her even against her own husband and tried to impose his authority and his point of view in our relationship. And that's the one that's causing this whole entire issue, right? I'm never gonna bad talk my wife. I don't think she's a bad person at all. I just think that due to an unfortunate series of events, it had to end up in this situation. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I started smoking weed again. Everything with the business, when I sold the business and I wasn't happy at home and getting stressed, I started smoking marijuana again. It's legal for personal use essentially, so I wasn't doing anything wrong. I never forced her to smoke. I told her that I was doing it, and we came to the agreement that as long as I don't pressure her to do it, she's going to respect me doing it because it's my life, it's my decision. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then that ended up being an issue because she aired that dirty laundry out to this family and to other people. One of the other reasons why it caused this whole entire issue because they believe that in their heads that I'm corrupting her. And if you are like an evangelical Christian and very fanatical about your faith, I understand why they think that way, you know, and I understand why my wife went to them, you know, because if these people were kind of like her family, you know, she had to talk about her issues or everything that she was feeling. So I don't blame them. I don't blame their reaction. I understand why they reacted how like super angrily, even though I disagree and I feel like it's a lot of misguided anger, you know, and I don't agree with the death threats or anything. But if, you know, there's this man who sees himself as like a father figure in her life, he believes that my wife will never do anything wrong to anybody. It kind of makes sense that he reacted that the way that he did. And so I don't fault them. You know, I'm not angry. I just wish they kind of left me alone because if they want to keep coming to war with me with all these dumb lawsuits, you know, I'm not afraid to play ball, and they have a lot of skeletons in their closet too. And I just don't want it to come to this, right? I just want to be able to leave peacefully. They're saying that I only got married with my wife for the papers. Okay, yeah, so I went on my channel, I proclaimed my faith, I put my reputation on the line to say that she was the woman of my life. You know, I invited my parents to the wedding, I done all of these things. I provided for the household for a year, you know, and I didn't complain. I got baptized. I did all of these things just because I wanted the papers. And now that I'm the one filing for divorce, once the divorce goes through, I'm gonna lose my visa anyways, you know? So like for them, divorce is not an option, even though, you know, the wife may have cheated on the husband, or the husband may have been, you know, abusive or an alcoholic or like a drug addict or something like that, right? I'm not saying anybody in particular, I'm just saying like in general, it's happened in the church that like you have to endure all of that because the marriage is more important than anything. I disagree. I do believe that as a man, you have to be able to walk away from the table. I cannot go back to that whole entire situation and look myself in the mirror as a man and say that you did the right thing, and look at myself the same way, because I feel like I'm betraying my principles and I feel like I would be a coward, you know? The worst thing as a man is being on your deathbed and realizing that you could not live up to your fullest potential. And that's exactly how I felt when I was in this marriage, when I was in Manizales, when I was a part of this church, and it was eating me up on the inside. So I had to develop the courage to say that, no, I don't want to go to the church anymore. No, I want to live my life this way. Now, for my safety, I can't even go back to the city. It pains me to say it, you know, because I really do care and I love my wife. Looking from it from a logical perspective, it's very clear that we're not going to work out in the long term. We're only going to have a lot more issues once kids are involved. And it's better to rip off the bandage now than to do it way, way in the future. They believe they're acting out of duty and respect for her, but I just wish that they saw that it was because of their actions, they made the situation way worse to the point where now getting back together is not even an option. So I don't know if you guys have noticed on my channel, I used to have like 250 videos. Now it's at like 140 because they made me delete all of the videos that showed them in it because it says that I'm invading their privacy rights, and they sent me several lawsuits about it. And I talked to my lawyer about it, and he was telling me that if you're not really attached to those videos, just private them or delete them, right? Because it's just not worth the battle. So pretty much 2.5 years worth of my YouTube and all the work that I put in, all of that's like gone now. It's deleted from my channel. I could be angry about it, you know, obviously it was a little annoying. But then the way that I see it now is that it just gives me an opportunity to rebrand myself, take my channel in a new direction with all the skills that I've learned from, you know, making all those videos. I think also during that phase of my life, I was maybe very judgmental, and you know, a lot of people didn't really like my opinions, but now I kind of see a different vision for my channel, and I want to go a different route. And just the kind of person that I am, you know, whatever God puts in front of me, whatever situations I'm in, I'm just going to make the most of it and continue to move forward. I'm sorry to all the people that I made friends with back in Manizales who hate me now. They think I'm public enemy #1. But I think time heals all wounds. I really hope that my wife can find somebody in the future. Hopefully one day we're able to shake hands and look each other in the eye and say, I'm sorry. At least I know that's what I want to do. Brush everything under the table and continue to move on with our life. I also want to end with a crazy story. So my first week here in Medellin, I had a feeling I wanted to go eat some Mexican food. So I went to this restaurant in Envigado, and I was sitting on the porch, and I saw my ex-girlfriend, the girl that I got pregnant. I saw her walk by. And I was just like, there's no freaking way. And I thought to myself, should I be a little bitch and try to go the other way, or should I go say what's up and approach her? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a man about it. I'm gonna go say what's up and see what happens. So I walked to where she was working. We made eye contact, and obviously there was a moment of like, holy crap. And then I just asked her like, hey, can we talk? And then we talked for a couple minutes, and I just asked her like, wow, it's so good to see you. At the time, you know, she was working as a webcam model, but now she got a job in a restaurant, and she seems to be doing better. And now she told me that she's living with her new partner, and everything's good. And I just told her, like, I'm so sorry for everything that happened. You know, I wasn't the best person, and hopefully there's nothing bad. There's no more bad blood between us. And she told me, like, tranquilo, don't worry, everything's good, and we're good. And we like gave a little hug, and that was it. Really crazy story. It feels like all the bad ties that I had here in Medellin, I'm trying to resolve them, and it's just reaffirming to me that, you know, time really does heal all wounds. I'll continue to update you guys on what's going on in my life. It's crazy. Talk to you guys later. Bye.